By January, the honeymoon phase of our relationship did start to dwindle. My ex became more comfortable, very much more vocal. When we would have conversations, he would either not engage or he would basically tell me to shut up and say I was talking too much. And he told me that I was a conversation bully and a conversation hog. So me being a person that does talk a lot, everyone knows this. I am a chatterbox. I do talk a lot. When he said that, I'm like, it hurt my feelings because I'm just sitting here like, how long have you just been thinking this in your head and now you're saying it to me? So I didn't challenge it because it was a really small thing to me, but it did hurt my feelings enough to the point that I made sure that I was very, very mindful in conversation, even if it was just casual conversation, to keep it very brief because I could see that he would get mad about it. In January, once the winter break was over, it was time for my boys to return back to school. And since we had moved, I let them finish out the school year of 2023 in the district. In January 2024, it was time to withdraw them from school, disenroll them, and have them enrolled through our district and have them sent to their new schools. Jaden was a piece of cake, no problems whatsoever. Joshua, that was totally different. Because they both have autism, in the city that we live in, it's relatively small. The schools did not have the resources that the boys needed and were entitled to, so they were going to have to be sent out of district. Totally fine. Placing Jaden was very easy. Placing Joshua was very, very complex. So we went on multiple school tours, and the reason why placing him was so difficult wasn't because the schools were not appropriate fits as much as it was they had a long wait list. My ex-boyfriend attended a few of these tourings with me. So everyone at the schools that we were going to meet with, the guidance counselors and the teachers and all that, he was there with me. And he would engage in conversation with them, asking them questions about their curriculum and safety protocol and all things of that nature, because he wanted to help make sure that my child was being placed in the best environment for the best outcome. And I really appreciated that. I always extended the invitation for him to come along if he had the availability, just because I know it looks a little bit different when you see a man and a woman and a child versus just a single mom and a child. He went with me. He was very vocal, very supportive, and we just kind of started playing it by ear until we could find placement for my youngest son, Joshua. In the month of January, also, one night my boyfriend was with me, my now ex-boyfriend, he was with me. He was spending the night, and we were sleeping. I think we were supposed to pick out a movie. I think we were about to pick out a movie to watch together, and eventually both just doze off. And it's about 2 to 3 a.m. and his phone is just blowing up. And he rolls over and he grabs his phone. And I had gotten up to go to the bathroom, and I come back and he's just like, "My house is on fire." And I was like, "What? Isn't your daughter at your house?" And he was like, "Yeah, she's at home. She's at my house, she's at our house, and my sister is there watching her." And he had to run and go because he had to get home. And I'm thinking that this house is obliterated. I'm thinking that that thing is down to the ground. And I was calling him, couldn't get in touch with him, couldn't get a hold of him. So I started to really worry that something really, really bad had happened to his daughter. Finally, the next morning, he finally called me back. And he told me that he believed that his daughter was playing with matches because they found matches in her room, and he believed that she was just trying to strike the match and then throw it across the room or get it into the trash can. And that's where the fire came from, because a large majority of her room was damaged. From my understanding, her TV was half burnt. All of her sneakers were half burnt. He sent me a picture of it, which I do not know what the hell I did with it. I saved everything else in the world, but I cannot seem to find where I put that picture at. He said that the following day, his daughter's mother was flying from California to New Jersey so they could have an intervention with their daughter, because he believed that she had started this fire to get attention or something behavioral, something related to behavior. So he said that the mom was flying down from California the next day so she could actually help and assist with their child. And I said to him, "Well, where is she gonna stay?" And he was like, "She's gonna stay at the house with us." And immediately, internally, I was not comfortable with the idea. But I looked outside. I saw the bigger picture. If your daughter is having some behavioral issues right now and you feel like she's doing certain things to get attention, it's amazing that the other parent you co-parent with is willing to go above and beyond and get to her child to ensure that you guys reinforce safety and that she doesn't feel like she's being like terribly punished. Let's talk about, let's get to the bottom. Are you feeling something? Like, was this an act of whatever it could be? So I was like, at the end of the day, I'm glad that your kid actually has the support system and that you and her mother co-parent well enough you guys can get along and come together and figure something out, because right now this is a safety hazard, and as a parent I do understand that. Just because I don't get to co-parent and I don't have that as an option doesn't mean that I don't respect it. So I was just like, this is a child, this is a 7-year-old little girl, there was a fire, things have been damaged, this does need to happen, and I'm totally okay with it. Her mom flew in, and was staying at the house. My ex-boyfriend spoke about it a little bit because he wanted to know how comfortable I was with everything, and I told him my true feelings. And he was like, well, I'm sleeping on the couch, she's sleeping in the other bedroom, I'm still gonna be coming over like I always do, I'll still be talking to you like I always do, nothing's going to change, she's just here for my daughter. I was like, okay. Backtracking a little bit. In November, he and I had a very heated debate about cohabitation with an ex. I can't remember what exactly sparked the conversation, to be honest with you, but I was like, I don't believe in it. If you're not going through a divorce and you guys just financially can't relocate or separate because of finances being so tight, understandable. If someone's not sick, like sickly sick, understandable. But on a regular, everyday, this is just my regular everyday, I live with my ex or the mother or father of my child, that made no sense to me. I was like, I don't trust that. And he was like, why? And I said, I don't trust that because at the end of the day, if 2 adults are paying bills to be under one roof, they're going to be awarded certain comforts of life. I'm not going to sit up here and pay half of the rent or half of the mortgage or half of all the bills and, provide groceries and do chores and all that and be told that I can't walk around in maybe like some booty shorts in my own house. Like, what? And at the same time, you have to consider I have to be respectful of the other person that lives there. And I said, it's too close of there's just a fine line. It's just a very, very fine line. Like, people, that's a red flag for a lot of people. So the safety and sanity of a relationship that you're in, it just didn't make sense to me. I didn't agree with it. And he said to me, well, I know people that live with their exes and they don't touch each other, they just communicate, they co-parent, and nothing ever happens. And I was just like, okay, I'm just letting you know that I don't go for that. I don't agree with that. I don't support it. His circumstance that happened in January was emergent. It is what it is. Right now, this is what needs to be done, and the children come first. But his idea that he brought forth in November did not make any sense to me at all. And he was like, it was a very heated little debate.